All right, let's talk about John the Baptist. We all think we know his story, right? But what if I told you there's this world-changing secret about his real mission, and it's been hiding in plain sight in just 3 verses we've all heard a million times? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
So this really boils down to one huge question, and it's the heart of this whole thing. Was John the Baptist the last prophet or the first? You know, the end of the line or the start of something totally new? And let me tell you, the answer we're going to find, it kind of turns centuries of tradition on its head.
Okay, so let's start with the familiar story. When you think of John the Baptist, what comes to mind? Probably this dramatic, kind of wild guy out in the desert, right? He's always painted as the last of the great Hebrew prophets, the final act, the end of an era.
Yeah, he's basically seen as the period at the end of a really, really long sentence that God's been writing for ages. His job, prepare the way for Jesus, and that's it. Job's done, curtain falls on the whole idea of prophecy. But here's a thought. What if that punctuation mark isn't a period at all? What if it's a comma?
And this is where things get really interesting. The whole picture, everything we thought we knew, it completely flips when we zoom in, like really zoom in, on just 3 little verses in the first chapter of John's Gospel. They look so simple on the surface, but trust me, they hold the key to everything.
So here's the text. It says, "There came a man sent from God, whose name was John. This one came for a witness. He was not that light, but was sent that he might bear witness about the light." Okay, seems pretty straightforward, right? But there's a tiny detail buried in there that, well, it changes everything.
In the secret, it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time. It all comes down to a single, tiny word choice, a preposition of all things in the original Greek text. And this one little word completely shifts the focus from who John was to why he showed up in the first place.
All right, so let's put on our detective hats and zoom in on that one little word. We're about to unlock the original Greek and see what the author was actually trying to tell us about John's mission. This is the good stuff.
Okay, so the key phrase here is eis martyrion. Now, most of our English Bibles translate this as John came as a witness. But here's the kicker. The Greek preposition eis doesn't really mean as. It's all about movement towards something, a goal. So a more literal translation would be, he came into witness, or for the purpose of a witness.
And believe me, that little distinction changes everything. See, as a witness describes his identity, it's static. It's all about him, and when he's gone, the story's over. But for a witness, that describes a mission. It's dynamic. He's not the finish line. He's the starting gun for something brand new. He's kicking off the whole act of witnessing itself. So here's the takeaway, the really crucial point. John didn't just show up to be a witness. His whole mission was to kickstart, to inaugurate, the very reality of witness itself, something that was meant to live on way past him. You could say he didn't just show up to give a testimony, he came to light the fuse. And once you see that, oh man, a pattern just explodes across the rest of the New Testament. You start seeing it everywhere. John wasn't the end. He was the start of this incredible, unbroken chain reaction.
I mean, just look at the book of Acts, right? Peter gets up at Pentecost and basically says, hey, that old prophecy from Joel, it's happening right now. Your sons and your daughters are going to prophesy. See, prophecy isn't dying out. It's multiplying. It's being democratized, opened up for everyone.
And the Gospel of John itself totally backs this up. The whole book is just obsessed with the idea of witness. I mean, after John the Baptist, who do we get? The first disciples, they're witnesses. The Samaritan woman, she's a witness. The works of Jesus, the Father, the Scriptures, the Holy Spirit. The list just goes on and on. It's this massive crescendo of testimony.
And you can literally trace this flow. It plays out perfectly. Step 1, John kicks off the mission for a witness. Step 2, Pentecost happens, and boom, the Spirit empowers a whole community to be witnesses. Then you get to Acts, and you see specific prophets popping up, like Agabus and Philip's 4 daughters. And by the time the early church is established, prophecy isn't some weird, rare thing. It's a normal, living gift.
So you see, this isn't just a bunch of coincidences. It's a deliberate chain reaction, a cascading effect. John the Baptist came for a witness, and everything that happened next was the fulfillment of that purpose. It created this continuous living stream of testimony, all powered by the Spirit.
Okay, so let's pull back for a second. What does this new big picture look like? It means we have to stop seeing John as an endpoint and start seeing him as an echo, a voice that just keeps on resounding.
And what this reveals is this really elegant four-step pattern for how Revelation works. It's not a one-off thing, it's a cycle. You have the sender, which is God. Then comes the messenger, like John. That messenger launches the witness, which is this spirit-powered testimony. And all of that points to the ultimate goal, the light, which is Christ. It's a dynamic flow.
So here's a really cool way to think about him. See him as a bridge. He literally has one foot planted in the old era of prophetic promise, and the other foot planted firmly in this new era of the light showing up and testimony continuing forever. Or how about this one? Think of him as the first loud blast of a shofar. You know, that ram's horn trumpet? His voice is that initial startling sound that gets everyone's attention. And the church, through all of history, we're the sustained echoing note that just keeps on going.
But for me, maybe the most powerful image of all is this one. John the Baptist wasn't a period at the end of a sentence. He was a doorway that got kicked wide open, letting this whole new age of unending testimony just pour right into the world.
And this whole idea, it all comes together beautifully in the book of Revelation. It says it right there. The testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. What does that mean? It means prophecy isn't some dusty, ancient gift that died out. No way. It's the living, breathing reality that happens anytime, anywhere, that someone gives an authentic testimony to the light.
And that, of course, leaves us with one last, really important question. John's whole mission was to start something that was never supposed to end. So if prophecy is the living testimony of the light, what does that testimony look like right here, right now, in our world today?